All right, Buff Nation, what is going on? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Look for truth in the comments. We got Dewey already in here. Y'all be sure to smash that like and let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on today on a lot of different topics. I'm joined today by my good friend Bird. It's been too long, my man. How are you doing, Bird?
All is well, man. I appreciate you always. How you been doing?
Man, I've been doing good. Man, just catching up on a lot of the transfer portal news because, I mean, I just had a crazy day with work, but man, we got a lot to talk about. We got staff changes, staff updates. We got the transfer portal, which is hitting CU as well as, I mean, every program in college football right now. But let's go ahead and open up with just a quick greater college football piece. Bird, what were your thoughts on the games this weekend? Were you cool with Florida State getting shunned out of the college football playoff? And who do you got winning? Who do you got as your national champion this year?
Most definitely. So, as far as Florida State, I know it was tough, man. Seeing an undefeated Power Five champion not get in over two one-loss teams was tough to see. I understand what they mentioned. They're not the same exact team, right? Without Jordan Travis. I mean, if Jordan Travis didn't play a game this year, this team's not undefeated, right? So
Right.
I understand that part of it. And when you're looking at the best four teams right now, are they one of the best four teams right now? It's tough to say that, but I mean, their record says they are, right? So it's tough on both sides, right? But I mean, I think we still got a good college football playoffs in general. That Michigan Alabama matchup is going to be pretty interesting. I don't think Michigan wanted Bama. I think
No.
they wanted Florida State. They didn't want anything to do with Bama. And I mean, I feel like Bama might already have the psychological game already won in that part. So it's going to be interesting, man. The Texas Washington matchup is another interesting matchup as well too.
Yes.
That's gonna be a really, really good one. So I mean, we could possibly get the Bama Texas rematch from early on in the season. We can possibly get that Bama Texas rematch in the national title. I'm thinking the way Bama's playing right now, it may be tough for anybody to beat Bama right now. So if I had to put all my money, I'll go Bama.
Man, very interesting. I think you're totally right about Alabama having that mental edge over Michigan. I mean, during that reaction that they filmed for Michigan to see who their opponent was, I mean, it looked like they had just gotten a death sentence. Like these
Yeah,
guys didn't even look excited about the opportunity to go up against one of the best. They just wanted to have their free pass to the national championship. I don't know if I'm in the minority on this, Bird, but I had no issue with how the college football playoff was decided. You had six, honestly, I felt six deserving teams, only four spots
yeah.
when it's this competitive. Yes, having Jordan Travis out absolutely affects it, as well as being in the ACC. That's just what it is. I'm so glad that this is the last year we got to deal with this, though, because all of the national title contenders will be making it now in the 12-team playoff moving forward. But man, for my prediction, I am I kind of a homer, I guess, because I do root for Texas, but I think we're going to get a 2009 rematch here of Alabama Texas. That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
and I got a $30 bet on Texas taking home the hardware. I think they're ready for this moment, but it's going to be hard to beat Bama twice in
Right.
one season. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. This is the college football playoff, that I've been looking forward to maybe the most in the last recent years, and it's going to be fun to see how it plays out. But at the end of the day, any of these four teams, I'm going to be happy, seeing them win. So yeah, Jalen Milrow has kind of made me a Bama fan just because he's hated on so much. I wouldn't even hate it if they won the national title just because I see him proving the haters wrong. And I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's been balling for sure. Like, I mean, they're heating up at the right time, man. They say, I mean, the teams that a lot of times win championship, they heat up at the right moments, and Bama's rolling. They rolling right now. So it's gonna be interesting. I know that the Orange Bowl matchup, the Georgia Florida State matchup. I mean, I don't I don't know. Yeah, Florida State to prove that they belong, but getting a Georgia team coming off the SEC championship loss is going to be tough to beat that Georgia team.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about this too. I think Florida State should absolutely like co-claim the national title if they end up beating Georgia. That would be an interesting scenario if
Yeah,
that happens, but Georgia by 50.
I think Georgia wins by a landslide. But if they do win and you have a 14-0 Florida State team with nothing else to show for it other than the Orange Bowl victory, it's going to be pretty interesting for sure.
Yeah, it's man, it's going to be a fun season, and of course, I mean December is going to be so busy for us.
Yeah.
Let's start with coaching changes. Thank God. Thank God. I've been waiting on this for like 3 months now. Bill Boyle finally out of there. Literally, thanks for nothing. We didn't see anybody get better under him. The one guy that he was kind of recruiting ends up going to Missouri. I mean, just honestly, I felt like we lost a year of development with this line because of Bill Boyd. That's just how I feel about it. He's joining his buddy and Sean Lewis at San Diego State. I guess we'll figure out, if it was the players, if it was the coaching, seeing how San Diego State turns out this next year. But it's going to be interesting to watch. And then Nick Williams. It was kind of rumored that he was moving to Syracuse to be a DC. So initially, I had no issue with this. Okay, elevation. Got no issue with that. But now I guess it's being reported that he's going to be the defensive ends coach at Syracuse. It's kind of a lateral move. So I don't like that, man. So what are your thoughts on the coaching changes right now? And any idea of who you want to see them, replace the vacancies with?
Right. So, of course, the coaching change, they happen yearly, right? We kind of knew about O'Boyle. The Nick Williams one was kind of a shocker, I will say, for me. Starting with O'Boyle, of course, we didn't see a lot of production out of that offensive line at all. One of the worst offensive lines in the country. So, not surprised seeing a move there, especially going with Coach Sean Lewis at San Diego State. Hopefully, we can get a fresh start. Not exactly sure who they're looking at. I'm pretty sure they're going to be Coach Prime is going to look at some NFL minds when it comes to bringing in his next offensive line coach for sure. Because we definitely have to take a big leap and a big jump with our offensive line. So whoever they bring in, I just want to see a guy that comes in and helps this offensive line communicate a little bit better and develop. Because like you said, there wasn't a lot of development going on. Coach Nick Williams, that hurts. That hurts on two sides. Yeah. He's a fiery coach that all the players love. I mean, he coaches really, really hard, but it's nothing but tough love. And he's a hell of a recruiter, man. So it's like, I mean, you're losing, it's a double-sided coin when you're losing Nick Williams. And I thought that he was going to elevate as well, too. I knew about the Syracuse rumors, with his buddy getting hired, coming over from A&M, getting hired for the head coaching job there. So I knew about those rumors, but I thought DC as well. So seeing it go from DN coach to DN's coach, I'm not sure what the salary looks like there, but I mean, that's his homie. So it's kind of tough when your homie call and it's like, hey, man, I need you. I get why he did it. I would have loved to see him stay because, I mean, we could have really built something here. But it was tough to leave. It was tough to see him go. We're going to have to bring in somebody that's going to be able to, because our DNs played well. I mean, our defensive line didn't play good, but we were good on the edge. So, it's going to be tough to see who we're going to bring in, but I trust Coach Prime to bring in somebody that's going to be really, really good for this program.
Yeah, and it was nice to see, for instance, the development of Arden Walker.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Nick Williams, I mean, he, like I have said, he's worth his weight in gold. He has been the guy responsible for recruiting a lot of our front seven commits that we have right now. And that is something that I'm nervous about. Now, I know Coach Prime isn't shocked by this. I'm sure they're working behind the scenes for a plan, but I'm excited to see what steps and what actions they take now. I'm hoping that we can see the majority of commits, uphold their commitment and sign here on early National Signing Day. Do we possibly lose a couple? I think that King Joseph Edwards is he canceled his visit this week. What do you think about that? Do you see anybody else jumping ship?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think King Joseph Edwards may be on his way out. Actually got a crystal ball today to Syracuse by Steve Wilfong. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, Steve gave him a crystal ball to Syracuse. So he gave it to him this morning. So he does have an official visit this weekend with Syracuse. And then, of course, the following weekend, I believe he's going to Florida State. So Florida State will be the last visit before he commits on the 19th. But I think King Joseph Edwards is a Nick Williams guy. And I think if Nick Williams would have stayed at Colorado, King Joseph would be coming to Colorado for sure. But with the move, and one reason why I really say that is because on Twitter, I said a couple weeks ago, King Joseph Edwards had mentioned that I know exactly where I want to go. I'm just waiting to commit. He already knew weeks ago where he wanted to go. And this is before Syracuse even came in the picture. So now Syracuse out of nowhere comes in the picture. Now everybody's flip-flopping over to Syracuse. So I'm thinking he's a Nick Williams guy, and he was going to follow Nick Williams wherever he went.
Man, you must love Nick Williams, man. If you're gonna move up to Syracuse, New York, man, playing the ACC. I guess it is what it is. I mean, I understand, wanting to go to the ACC instead of maybe the Pac-12, but I don't know. I feel like things are changing here to where the spotlight, of course, is still going to be on this program. You're playing in the Big 12. You're playing in the South. I think there's still a lot of good momentum going for a program like Colorado.
Yeah.
But man, it hurts, and we got some ground to make up to make sure that these guys still stay committed, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, we're not going to end up with 10 guys in our recruiting class. We're going to get guys, and it's going to be interesting to see who those guys are going to be. I can tell you that we're probably both on the same page with Jordan Seaton.
Yeah.
A guy who announced he was visiting Ohio State this weekend. What do you think about him?
It's tough with Seaton because, of course, he was saying all the right things coming in. Now, I will say Saturday night when he dropped that interview on Rivals and he was talking about, 4-8 program, pitching national title and how he can kind of see right through that. I knew right then, I said we lost him because who else was he talking about, right? I mean, when you look at his top 7, no other team had 4 wins except for us. So I knew then, I was like, I didn't want to speculate too much on it, but I knew deep down, I said, we're not going to get him. We don't have him. And then you see today, he's like, oh yeah, I got an announcement at 6:00. I already knew then. I'm like, he's going to drop a top list. I'm thinking a top 3 and we won't going to be in it. He went the petty route and dropped the top 6 and just dropped this off. Yeah, he dropped his top 6 today. He went from a top 7 to a top 6, and he left CU off. I was like, oh, and he's committing. I believe he's committing on the 7th. He's committing like 2-3 days from now. So yeah, that was, it was kind of a little jab. But I mean, it is what it is. It's the nature of the business. I hope he does well wherever he goes. It's the nature of the business. It happens. All I focus on right now is we got to land Shaq McRoy, the 4-star that's committed to Oregon that we had on campus this weekend. The 6'8" offensive tackles. We got to land him.
350.
Yeah, we got to land him. I mean, season's over with. Let's focus on Shaq. He said right now it's neck and neck between us and Oregon right now, as far as where he's going to commit to. So we're going to see.
We've made up a lot of ground, man. We've made up a lot of ground with somebody that's been committed to Oregon since the summer.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, Jordan Seaton's a big guy. Obviously, you have to be very technically sound to be ranked as the number 1 guy. But I mean, you cannot ignore the size of McCray, man. 350 pounds. I haven't watched his tape yet, but I'm just hoping he can move. And it's interesting. This is interesting. We don't have an offensive line coach named yet, but he came for a visit. We don't have an offensive coordinator yet, but he came for a visit. What you think about the idea of Pat Shurmur, Brett Bartoloni, Byron Leftwich? Has your thoughts or opinions on who you want to be in here or who you expect to be in here changed over the last few weeks?
Kind of the same. Of my wants as far as the OC is Byron Leftwich, right? Of course, who wouldn't want Leftwich to be able to come in? Of course, he's already been around the program, a few times. So we would love to see Leftwich and his expertise coming to Boulder. It's looking like it could possibly be Pat, though. I've seen some rumbles about the possibility of they staying in-house and it be Pat. Now, I know we've spoken off camera about his ability to recruit. And if he can do that, if he wants to do that. Because recruiting is, I mean, you got to want to recruit. I mean, you got to be good at it, too, but you got to really want to do it because, I mean, that's long hours. I mean, you got to really do a lot of things when it comes to recruiting. So it could possibly be Pat. The Brett Bartoloni is not a terrible move. Of course, he was the OC, at one point in time at Jackson State. So of course, Shador is comfortable with Brett, but I'm thinking it may. If I had to put some money on it right now, I'm thinking they may end up leaning towards Pat, and it's tough. It's tough.
It's not the worst thing.
Right. And
It's not the worst thing, but I do really worry about his ability to recruit and just like how long he would want to do something like this.
mhm.
Um, but I've told Rawhide this. I think I've said it on some different shows, but if we need to bring in somebody like Pat Shermer in order to get another gold jacket in here, like Mike Munchak, to fix this offensive line, to coach it up. Uh, you know, Matt McChesney brought up last Wednesday how, the man fixed Garrett Bowles, turned him into a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Just imagine what he can do. So I think if Munchak were to come and we kind of have this NFL style coaching staff, I'm okay with that. I would then question, okay, is this Colorado thing really a long-term plan for the for the coaching staff? Which, again, I don't have an issue with it. This is about getting back to relevancy, and being competitive again, and we're on the way to do that. So I want this thing to last a long time, but if it doesn't, you're not going to get any sour grapes from me. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I think Bartoloni, I think I'd feel fine with that. Again, a younger guy, already has experience with Shador. I'm sure he learned some things kind of being more behind the scenes, not play calling this year.
Yeah.
And that could be another really interesting one. But yeah, I know the OC will probably come first, but I'm most interested right now in who we're going to hire as this offensive line coach, and see who else is, going to be coming. There have been a couple guys that I wanted to see return on this team and on the offensive line, not as starters, but maybe to compete. Van Wells is hit the portal. Let me bring up the full list we got right now. Van Wells, center, out. Jared Christian Lichtenhan, out. Caleb Fourier, we knew that. He wasn't on the team for half the year. Linebacker Marvin Ham, I'm fine with that. Anthony Hankerson, again, thank you for your time. But, we got Alt McCaskill next year. I got no issue with that. Michael Harrison, I've been confused on because he was classified as a junior, but walked on senior day. Is he taking a grad transfer year? And then we got Case and Wiseman. So give me your thoughts right now on the guys who have hit the portal from CU.
Most definitely. I'm right there with you as far as the offensive line pieces that left. Van hurts a little bit more than Tank, I will say.
Yeah.
It would have been, some good depth pieces to have. Of course, we were expecting some, new offensive linemen to come in. Anthony Hankerson, I expected, to be honest with you, just because, Hank can go somewhere and play. He has some potential for us this year, but with a loaded backfield, like you said, we got, Alton McCaskill still coming back, Sivion Wilkinson coming back, Dylan Edwards coming back. We got the Michael Welch kid, the 2024 commit from Georgia that's coming in. So, it was going to be tough, right, for him. So I'm not mad at Hank at all. Mikey Harrison, I wasn't too surprised at, because he walked on senior day. When I saw that, I was like,
yeah,
still got some eligibility left. I'm thinking, I'm thinking he may hit the portal. He had a good enough year, had 5 touchdowns on the season. So, and of course, his position coach, Tim Brewster, who he was tight with, left. So I'm not too surprised on Mikey. I was hoping to keep him because he did production, and he was going to still be able to help us next year as well. As far as Case and Wiseman, no shade to him, but we played 3 quarterbacks this year, and he wasn't one of them. No shot to him. The kid had like 20, 30 offers, right, coming out of high school. But I wish him the best. I hope he does well. But that's not a huge loss or anything like that. So the pieces that we did hit the transfer portal, I'm not really losing sleep over. But Hankerson, Mikey Harrison, and Van Wells were the 3 that I wouldn't have mind that stayed.
Yeah. Now, I will defend myself here. Why would you want anybody from that offensive line to return next year? Hey, I might be in the minority of this opinion, but when the line is that bad and when nobody improves, in my opinion, that falls on coaching. That falls on Bill O'Boyle. That falls on poor scheme by Sean Lewis. I I think the majority of the responsibility falls on the coaches that are no longer here. That, in my opinion, they weren't ready for this level of football. And I'm not saying I want any of these guys to return as starters, but it, if we get too many guys transfer out of here, we have to develop 2, 3 different levels of the offensive line again. Even if we have some backups to work with and improve, I wonder what would happen with somebody like Van Wells, who has 2 full years of starting experience. As going into his true junior season, imagine if he got some coaching to
Yeah.
where he was able to improve. That's my biggest thing is, I want to still see some of these guys improve. And I don't know how you can. I think we're going to double down on it and try and build another line out the portal this year. But again, we do have guys like Tyler Brown, David Connor coming back. I would like to see Savion Washington stick around, but not guaranteed a starting spot or anything like that. My ideal scenario is that we bring in guys that are better than the guys that we have right now. But man, we saw with Tyler Brown being out the whole year, we need that depth. We can't be throwing a 280-pound left guard out there all season again.
No, it's not gonna work. Not at all. Not gonna work at all. Like, I mean, and of course, the offensive line is expected to improve. How could you not with the numbers that we had this year on the offensive line? We expect an improvement. But, I mean, like you said, a lot of it is on coaching. I mean, we have to fix, because we got the quarterback. I mean, you got a pro quarterback. You got a first-round quarterback back there. You have receivers. We have backs. If we can fix the offensive line, I'm telling you right now, I mean, we're going to put up points. It's going to be one of those type of deals where teams are going to have to outscore us. And it can happen, right? But, yep. I mean, nothing without offensive line. I'm right there with you. I think we're going to end up building at least 3 or 4 of those pieces are going to come from the transfer portal. Tyler Brown is going to be a plug-and-play guy as soon as camp starts. Tyler Brown is that good. Now, from there on out, we're going to have to see exactly what's going to transpire. But we're going to have some guys that are going to come in. Like you said, David Connor is going to compete. We got the JUCO guy that's coming in as well. Yep. That's top offensive tackle in JUCO.
Isaiah Walker.
Yeah, Isaiah Walker. He was a bounce back from Miami and from Florida as well. So we're gonna see what happens there. But I mean, maybe if we can goes back to the Shaq McRoy kid, the 4-star. And I know he's a true freshman, but I mean, he's 6'8", 350. And he's athletic. He's got a receiving touchdown this year. Like, yeah, he's athletic. He can move. I mean, I broke his film down. I mean, yeah, he can really move for that size, man. And he's strong, man. I mean, he's playing right tackle right now in high school. So we're gonna see what happens there. But we got to find a way to get Shaq.
Man, you got me sold. You got me sold. I'm definitely gonna have to check out your video on that. On McCray after this. Is it McCray or McCroy? I always forget.
McCroy.
Sorry about that. To answer some people in the commenting in the questions or questioning in the comments, Michael Welsh, our running back recruit this year, I believe is still committed. We did get the 25 decommit with Gata Wilder. He was the running back that decommitted along with Antoine Hill. And who was the third guy in that class that now we have 0 guys? Do you remember what you make about the 25 decommitment?
Winston Watkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as far as the 2025 guys, I mean, of course, I know with Antoine Hill, he was supposed to reclass into the 2024 class and commit early. That didn't go through, so now he's staying in 2025. Ultimately, he decommitted, and he's going to be able to take all his official visits and enjoy the recruiting process. I'm not surprised about that at all. As far as Gata Wilder, this is what I've heard. I'm not sure to be true, but I heard Gata Wilder was kind of like a package deal. I heard it was like a package deal for Charles Lester III. I know they came on a visit together, and they was expecting that if we get Gata, we can get Charles Lester. And of course, Charles Lester ended up going to Florida State. I guess we weren't too high on Gata. Not saying Gata's not a good running back, but I believe he only has like a couple Power 5 offers right now. So Winston Watkins, I feel like Winston is just waiting to make sure that Coach Prime is definitely going to stay, because he's a Coach Prime kid. I mean, his nickname was Prime Time in Florida. Like they was.
Yes.
So he wants to go wherever Coach Prime is. I'm thinking that he just wants to, one, be able to enjoy the full recruiting process, get all his official visits, and then make sure that Coach Prime is going to stay. But 2025, those guys weren't going to affect 2024. So I'm not, oh my God, going crazy because we lost some 2025 recruits. It happens. I still think we can ink, Winston Watkins and Antoine back in.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're still in the running. Obviously, like that stuff is so far out, even if they were committed, you can't you can't take that for granted. You still have to recruit your commits.
Right.
And this is going to be a fun season. Like I'm not out here calling like this guy, we're going to flip this guy, we're going to grab these guys in the transfer portal or anything, like that. Just trying to keep my mind open and see what happens. I'm still expecting CU to get a strong recruiting class, similar a little bit. Honestly a little bit better than what we had last year. That is what I'm expecting. But even if we're 25th instead of 21st, I'm not gonna like go crazy about that or anything. But I do think we'll get another strong recruiting class. And this year we do have some NIL money to throw around, much more than we had at this point last year. So yeah, what are you kind of expecting for the recruiting results, number of transfers, number of high school guys? Any guys in particular that you feel like we might have our eyes on or that you'd like to see come here to Boulder?
Most definitely. So I think the transfer portal class is going to be another really good one for us. I know we were number one last year. I think we'll be flirting with that 1, 2, 3 this year again. The high school class is going to still be a good class. We still have some guys that we can still land here late in the signing period, and I feel like we'll still get a couple of those guys. But it's going to be a heavy transfer portal class. Of course, we know we need offensive linemen. Everyone knows that. But we also need the interior defensive line as well, right? So there's a couple guys in the Ivy League that hit the portal that are really, really hot right now. They got 20-plus offers. One is the George Blackman kid from Penn, and then the other one is Clay Patterson from Yale. Both of those guys have put up some phenomenal numbers. They have a ton of sacks. They just get in the backfield left and right. So they have a similar skill set. They're both 6'3", 300 pounds. And like I said, they have Power 5 offers coming left and right. So, starting there, I will hope that we can get, and I think this is one guy that we could really possibly get, is the linebacker, the JUCO linebacker. He's the Keaton Thomas. He's at Northeast Mississippi Community College. He led JUCO this year. He had 109 tackles. He was a JUCO leading tackler this year. We offered him. He's got offers from all over the country. We offered him, and he said that offer was surreal. It was a surreal feeling to get that offer. He was blown away by the offer. So I'm hoping we get. He's a tackling machine. He's a little small. He's like 6'2", 230. So he's a little light for a linebacker, you could say, but he makes up for it with speed, athleticism, instincts. He goes sideline to sideline, and he can cover. So I like him. We have to replace Xavier Weaver. People can say whatever they want. We have receivers. We have weapons. You can say whatever you want. But that's our leading receiver. He's a pro. He had 70 catches, over 900 yards, 6 touchdowns. That's a lot of production that you have to replace. So, we do still need, I would say, a plug-and-play wide receiver. I like the Macklin kid out of North Texas. He's Jeremy Macklin's cousin. His name is Jamori Macklin. I like him. Over 1,000 yards this year, 11 touchdowns. Just catches everything. I like him. I also like Juice Wells, Antoine Wells from South Carolina. He started his career off at James Madison. He was teammates with my little brother. My little brother started his career off at James Madison. So I like Juice Wells. Juice Wells went for 1,000 yards at James Madison. Then he hit the portal, got offers from everywhere, committed to South Carolina, made a lot of plays for South Carolina this year. He's back in the portal. He's like the number 2 wide receiver in the portal right now. Antoine Wells, Juice Wells is a pro. So, we need one of those type of guys to replace a pro. Because, you're losing one in Xavier Weaver. So, hopefully we can really bring in some pieces that can come in and really make an impact, and I think we will.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, too, I'm really interested to see, what we do at the tight end position because, our walk-on guy is gone with Mikey Harrison. Louis Passarello's still on the roster, but, I don't expect him to stick. We didn't really see him this year. Of course, Caleb Fourier is gone as well. So, yeah, who's going to be the tight ends coach? That's another thing. This is going to be really interesting to see what happens, but man, I just hope we can get some dogs on the defensive and offensive line fronts. I've seen that some guys, I forget what positions they play, but I saw that a couple guys on defense, I think for Georgia, already jumped in the portal. So,
Right.
Man, just get as much top end SEC talent as possible. Uh,
Right.
you know, that's we just need that base. We just need that base. We can coach him up. You know, let's not have anything happen. I know he was a Michigan transfer, but we're going after guys like Taylor Upshaw again. You know,
Yeah.
but but let's not tell them that, hey, we're going to move you inside. you know, and then they end up leaving. Like, let's go get these dogs and have them succeed here. But I think we're about to see, how good. I know Charles Kelly has a great reputation as a recruiter.
Yeah, he does.
The pressure is on, right now with him to see how many of these current commits that were brought in here primarily by Nick Williams, how many he can get them, how many he can get to stay, as well as what transfers and what other flips we're going to get in the transfer portal and on early signing day. It's going to be fun to watch.
It
It's
is.
always entertaining.
For sure. I'm interested to see what Warren Sapp is going to bring, because I know for a
Yeah.
fact he knows guys. He knows guys, and I know it's some kids that, especially in the state of Florida, that'll want to come play, and be coached by Warren Sapp. So we're gonna see what happens there. But I mean, I really think that we need to get at least 2 legit pieces out of the transfer portal when it comes for that offensive line. I'm talking about guys that can come in and play right away, like the Spencer kid from Michigan State. That he started like 25 straight games for Michigan State. He's in the portal right now. Of course, the Justin Mayers from University of Texas, El Paso, UTEP transfer. He has a Colorado offer as well too. He hit the portal. He's 2-time all conference as well. I believe he broke the UTEP's like squat record. He has like the squat record for UTEP. So him, and you got a guy like Jaquan Scott out of he's at Southern Miss transfer. He has a Colorado offer as well too. And then the kid from Memphis, the Memphis kid, Davion Carter, who I'm really high on. He's interior offensive line. That's a plug and play NFL guy right there. I mean, he had like a Pro Football Focus. I believe he ranked 11th out of all offensive linemen in the country right now. He ranked 11th on the Pro Football Focus grade, and he was like one of the most disciplined offensive linemen in the country. He didn't have any hurries or pressures while also not giving up any penalties as well. So I mean, those are the type of linemen that you need. And he's in the portal now too. So I mean, we got to get one of those 4. If we can get one of those 4, I'll feel really, really good. If I would have to say one that we could really get, I would say Justin Mayers from UTEP. I think we can get Justin. I think we can get him.
Yeah, El Paso isn't too far away from Colorado. It's a day's drive, I think. Might be a long day, but it's not too far away. A little bit more scenic than El Paso. A little bit different scenery. Giggity, wondering is Coach Trevor Riley still here? I believe he is. Have you seen anything else, Bird, on him?
I haven't seen anything on him leaving. I believe I think he's still around. Yeah, I haven't seen.
What about ideas for a tight end coach? To be honest, man, I haven't even thought about it.
I haven't thought about it either. I haven't put no thought into it, honestly. That'd be something I had to think about. I mean, we're definitely got to replace a really, really good tight ends coach. I mean, Coach Brewster is one of the best ones doing it, right? So I mean, you gotta bring a really good guy in. But I haven't thought about it. But a tight ends coach and a tight end is important. I mean, you got to get a tight end that's going to stay too, right? Because
let's get some 3 or 4 tight ends, man. We need to be running that 12 personnel.
Right.
I want to see more of that, especially with Alton McCaskill, giving him, 7, 8 guys sometimes to run in front of. I think that would be super ideal. Let's get back to running the ball more and winning some football games. I think we can get there, but there are a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of, announcements, I'm sure, that Coach Prime and the rest of the staff, they're waiting to make some hires maybe that they're waiting to finalize. Again, with Bill O'Boyle, Sean Lewis, this stuff has been in the cards for a couple months now. So you imagine that they've narrowed down their short list, and hopefully that will be announced soon with Bill O'Boyle's departure announced today.
Yeah, I'm expecting that too. I'm expecting I think they know who they want to hire. They just haven't released it yet, and I feel like it's gonna be something that when they release it, I feel like it's gonna be some people are not gonna like it, some people like it, some people may be neutral, but at the end of the day, I still feel like this is the worst Colorado team that we're gonna see under the Prime era. I don't think that we go backwards. I think that we go forward. So I see someone said, "Where is Weaver going? He's going to the league. He about to play on Sundays."
Yeah, I think he'll be a day 2 pick, man. I think he will. I think he'll sneak into that 3rd round. We'll have to see how the testing comes out, but in terms of his production, his size, the physical attributes that he shows on tape, I mean, I think a NFL team will spend some sizable draft capital on a guy like that.
I think so too. I'm not sure if he's going to the Senior Bowl or not. I know he was on the Reese Senior Bowl watch list. I don't know if he's accepted that or the East West Shrine. I'm not sure. Hopefully he does go to the Senior Bowl. I'll be there because my little brother, of course, my little brother accepted his Senior Bowl invite, so he'll be there. So I'll be there. I'll be there pretty much the whole week. So hopefully Weaver is there. If so, I'll try to run it, catch him up to him, run into him or whatever. But yeah, I think Weaver's a next level guy for sure. He checks off a lot of boxes.
No doubt. And yeah, for anybody in the audience who is just coming across bird's eye view for the first time, hey, get us up to speed. Who's your little brother? He's
Gotcha.
going to the Senior Bowl. Is there an idea of where you feel like he might be drafted?
Absolutely. So my little brother is Willie Drew. He's been labeled as the best Division II corner in the country right now. He finished this year. He had 16 PBUs. He had 6 interceptions just this year. 16 PBUs, 6 interceptions. He had almost 40 tackles, a few tackles for loss as well. He's got just pretty much every invite possible. He's got the Reese Senior Bowl. He's got the East West Shrine Bowl. He's got the Hula Bowl. Ultimately, we committed to the Reese Senior Bowl, so we'll be in Mobile. He was a James Madison transfer. He was at James Madison coming out of high school. But yeah, he's a cornerback, and I mean, he checks off a lot of boxes. I'm not just saying that because of my little brother. I mean, he's legit 6'1", 185, runs a 4.4. He ran that at his junior pro day, 4.44, trip fours. We're gonna try to get that to like a high 4.3 if possible.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's got a legit shot. Right, the latest draft board I saw was 6th round to the Buffalo Bills. That was
Okay.
the latest, which is huge coming from a D2 HBCU. I mean, we're coming from a small school HBCU, and but yeah, he's been that guy. He won Defensive Player of the Year in the conference. So he was a CIAA Defensive Player of the Year. He's done some phenomenal things, and he was first team this year. Obviously, he was first team last year with 5 interceptions last year. So 11 interceptions in the past 2 years. I mean, he's a ball hawk for sure, and he gonna come up and tackle too. I mean, he's physical. He checks them off. So I got his tape on my channel. You go on my channel, you'll be able to see the tape. I mean, he's a pro without question.
Man, I love it. And how exciting. I hope that, he gets drafted at or like at a place or a team that's nearby. I forget, Virginia or North Carolina. I forget where you're at.
I'm in Virginia. Yep, I'm in Virginia.
Yeah.
Both of us played at Virginia State.
Okay, that's right. So I guess you got the command. Baltimore's not too far away. I guess Baltimore would be kind of a cool.
Baltimore be the Commanders. Commanders have talked to him a lot. We
Okay.
talked to like all 32 teams, but Commanders have talked to him a lot. The course, the Carolina Panthers are nearby too. That's not too far there in North Carolina, so that's not too bad. Anywhere, honestly. But
Exactly.
yeah, they're talking about Buffalo right now, but it's kind of cold. But I mean, we'll deal with it. It is what it is. If you're in the league, we'll play wherever.
Exactly. And would rather be in Buffalo than I think Syracuse, New York. That's just my preference. But we'll have to see. But Bird, thanks again so much for hopping on here with me, getting me up to speed on some of the transfer portal coaching changes, news that I missed out on today. So always really appreciate it. Where can my audience find you? What can we expect to see from you for the rest of this week on your channel?
Absolutely. So always appreciate you, man, for having me on. It's always a blessing to be able to come up here, man. I appreciate you a lot. As far as my channel, man, just continue to grow the channel, continue to track the transfer report. I mean, it's technically college free agent season, so it's bananas right now, right? So, I'll be staying alert, staying on top of guys that'll be strongly considering Colorado, breaking down their film. Of course, you can find me here on YouTube at Bird's Eye View, on Twitter at baseball_driven_, and then on Instagram at Bird's Eye View 5. If you're watching from my channel, make sure you go subscribe to David Talk Buffs as well. I always appreciate you, bro.
Well, thank you so much. Always appreciate it, Bird. I'll let you get to it. Audience, thank you so much for checking in. Shout out to the fellas, Tremaine Young, the man above, Bodie. I mean, everybody was in here. The chat, you guys were great today. I will be back with some content tomorrow. And as always, Sko Buffs.
Go Buffs.